Have you ever wondered what secrets lie in the famous Jedi Temple? Inside the temple were rows and rows of ancient Jedi secrets, but not all Jedi were allowed to access the information. Some secrets were too important to be open to everyone. Jedi librarians would restrict access and only make it available when necessary. The information wasn't always restricted, but that quickly had to change because some of it was so dangerous it began to corrupt members of the Jedi Order. Some of the information inside included Sith artifacts and Sith holocrons. But before we get too deep into those, let's talk about the majority of the information that was inside the temple. Most information was open to all Jedi to research and to expand their knowledge on the millions and millions of books inside the library. The books contained information on scientific breakthroughs, astronomical journals, maps of the galaxy, but the temple also protected some of the most dangerous information, like records the Jedi kept of the Sith. The temple was home to one of the biggest collections of knowledge in the galaxy, so it's no surprise that the Jedi had information on just about anything. They kept most of their important information in the Holocron Vault. The Holocron Vault was found on the outermost edges of the Jedi archives. It was protected by a complex system of security doors and lasers. The lasers could detect any movement, and if they did, they would sound an alarm. Official access to the vault was only allowed to 12 Jedi members at a time, with seats on the Jedi Council. But the vault didn't just contain Sith artifacts. It also contained one of the most important Jedi holocrons in the galaxy. This was a map to every Force-sensitive child in the galaxy. The map was stolen a few times, but the Jedi managed to keep it safe until Cal Kestis was able to destroy it. He chose to get rid of the map so it wouldn't risk falling into the wrong hands. This is an interesting decision, especially since the Jedi chose to keep around dangerous Sith artifacts right in the heart of their temple. The most famous was the Mask of Darth Momin. This is a mask that Vader used to talk to the Sith Lord Darth Momin. The mask was pretty creepy, and it ended up corrupting anyone who wore it, but the Jedi still chose to keep it in their temple, regardless of the power it held. So this raises the question, why did the Jedi choose to keep the Sith artifacts and the Sith holocrons instead of just destroying them? They restricted access to all but about 12 Jedi Masters at a time, so they made sure the knowledge they possessed didn't get into the wrong hands, but the knowledge never spread to the rest of the Jedi Order. Before the Sith teachings were restricted, the Jedi had problems with members of their order reading the material and choosing to follow the wrong path. Some Jedi would read the Sith teachings and become convinced that a Sith methodology was better than what a Jedi could provide. They thought the knowledge in these Sith holocrons were too dangerous to have all Jedi reading them, so why wouldn't they just destroy all the information? I believe the Jedi did this because they knew that Sith followers could emerge throughout any point in time. They knew that for eternity, the Sith would be a threat to democracy, so of course they had to keep tabs on the Sith and made sure the most powerful Jedi in the Order were capable of handling them. It's pretty much the same mentality of know thy enemy. They kept the information around so their leaders could always be prepared and know the Sith mindset and know what plans might emerge from the Sith. They must have restricted the information to members of the Council, so only the most dedicated Jedi would be able to read the information, and then they could recognize when Sith activity was a present threat. Unfortunately, if this was their tactic, it seemed to have worked against the Jedi's favor, because the Sith were able to rise to power right under their noses. The Jedi believed that Darth Maul was supposedly the first Sith death in 1,000 years. This would leave a lot of time for the Jedi to lose their ability to recognize when dark forces are on the rise. I think this highlights the importance of sharing knowledge and letting everyone choose their own path. George Lucas usually hides nuggets of very important political points, such as the most common, democracies aren't destroyed, they're given away. I wonder if this is one of the things that George added in the story to call attention to just how important widespread knowledge is. Maybe if the Jedi let their followers access information freely, there would be more Jedi to recognize when Sith practices are being played out. The Jedi could have been more prepared to handle the workings of a hidden Sith Lord. Even Jedi teach something similar. You must always let people choose their own path, even if that means losing a few to the wrong one. And my last detail on holocrons, if you want to open a holocron for yourself, check out this video on the Sith view on marriage. Did they forbid attachment like the Jedi? Or was it encouraged, so the attachment would lead you deeper into the dark side? Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you learned something new. If you want to learn even more, be sure to subscribe for more Star Wars content, and I'll see you guys next time.